Professor Haq. Thank you so much, Professor Haq. Forbes article, what we see that in 1929, the unemployment rate reached 24.9% in United States and most of the other developed and top countries. If you see, Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis President James Bullard, he said that this time the unemployment rate could touch 30%. So that's a huge figure, and it could hit so 30% low. So 30% people will lose job, and it'll reach 20%. When we talk about GDP, similarly GDP is going to drop. Bullard again, he predicted that 50% drop would be in the GDP, world GDP. And stocks, the Dow stock has already lost 24.5% value. Now S&P has also declined by 34%. So these are real figures in front of us. So GDP, unemployment, and the fall of prices, all this. What I want to come with a question to our experts. United States, Europe, China, India, these all countries make a good contribution to the global GDP rate. There is no doubt that big economies are stuck. Do you think that this can be also a reason, and this will lead to a shift to the global world production chain or global supply chain from here? Professor Wagle or Dr. Haq, if you can talk about that.
I think your issue that you look into it, and I think I will go back to the idea that when we see a fall in output, and obviously American economy is suffering, that is not, but that does not mean that countries like ours will go down. That is what the first issue. Second issue that you are looking at, prices are going to go down, and this is case, but in most every country, if you look carefully, every government is pumping money into the economy to deal with current unemployment. And that will not actually reduce the price. The problem that I see, and I think it's a great problem, the problem that I see in terms of the economy of the world is how to restart the whole economy the way we think. And I see that if you look at the Chinese experience, it's not going to be zero, it's going to go back to normal because the production capacity is there. So that is one good side of it. While we say unemployment today is very low, and I think if you look into the difficulty that happens in the developed country, not in developing countries like ours, that they have to readjust. And this is one example that we should listen to, that most of the time when you come to a crisis like this, you go back to a new normal, and the scenario is probably not going to be exactly what it was. What I mean, if you look into the even last small recession in 2008, 2009, many many retail stores in America opened these kiosks to sell their products or internet-based sales, and when the recession was over, those jobs did not come back. So you can see that there are economies who have to readjust, we have to wake up with the new normal and say this is going to happen. Having said this, I think countries like ours should not feel that we are not in a problem. If I look into even Bangladesh, or even, we have news as, for example, production is happening. It's not the same economy as before. So if you look carefully, the poultry farms are in trouble. Milk farms are in trouble because you are producing, but you are not going to sell. And if you cannot sell it, you have a big bankruptcy issues coming. So I think I can see those issues will be there. But my take on recession, that it's probably not going to be recession. The government has to come up with strategies to deal with it. And the strategies has to be prudent one, to make sure that we go back to the normal very quickly. So my point that I'm pushing is that we should not be as pessimistic as we think of. We will go back, but the way government has to deal with it, that is one important issue. And we have to think about that agriculture is not, if we say that it's not going to be affected, I do not see that. I think agriculture will be in trouble. You have producing farms, it's not subsistence agriculture. Commercial farms producing milk are in trouble. Commercial poultry farms producing poultry is in trouble. Egg farms are in trouble. So if you look at even vegetables, they are all in trouble. We have communication disruption. So if continues for few more months, hopefully it should stop. If it does not, if we do not come up with a solution, what you will see huge bankruptcy among these commercial agriculture and commercial commercial installations that we see. So I see that as a problem, and that is why I'm not saying that there is no problem. It's a huge problem, but that does not mean our economic growth. And that's why my feeling is that no, I don't see economic growth to be negative. It will be slowing down, but we should be able to go back with the right strategy of the governments.